There are encounters that transcend logic, moments when you meet someone and time seems to pause, not in a grandiose cinematic way, but in a quiet and undeniable shift beneath the surface of your awareness, a subtle jolt, a vibration recognized not by the mind, but by something older within you, something eternal. This is not imagination, it is memory, buried not in the brain, but in the soul. Brian Weiss, a psychiatrist turned pioneer of past life regression, dedicated his life to unveiling these invisible threads. Through thousands of hypnotic sessions, he discovered that our souls are ancient travelers, returning again and again, not alone, but alongside others, partners, mirrors, teachers, soulmates. And sometimes, though rarely, we find them again. This is not about romance in the way we're taught to perceive it. This is not the soulmate of fairy tales. This is the meeting of two souls who have walked together through lifetimes, carrying echoes of shared joy, pain, and purpose. When they meet again, in this life, the signs are subtle but unmistakable. You feel it before you understand it. An inexplicable sense of familiarity, as though you've met before. Not in this lifetime, but somewhere beyond the veil. This recognition is not mental, it is vibrational. You feel it in the way their presence relaxes your nervous system, in the way silence with them feels full rather than empty. Words become unnecessary, not because there's nothing to say, but because so much is already known. These connections are often disorienting at first. Why would someone you've just met stir something so deep inside you? Why would a single glance unravel your carefully constructed emotional walls? The answer lies beyond the linearity of time. Because time, as Brian Weiss reminds us, is not linear to the soul. It spirals, weaves, returns. The moment of reunion is a collapse of lifetimes into the now. Your body remembers, your intuition surges forward, and yet the rational mind protests, attempts to file this person into known categories: stranger, acquaintance, attraction, but none of these fit. Because the soul recognizes before the mind does, you may feel drawn to this person without reason. Or you may feel an almost irrational sense of trust, or even fear. Both are signs. Both emerge from a deeper reservoir of memory. This reunion often comes with intensity, but it is not always peaceful. Some past life soulmates return not only for harmony, but for healing. The wounds from other lifetimes may still linger unresolved, echoing through your emotions now. Encounters may feel charged, sacred, or even karmically complex, and yet beneath it all there is love. A soul-level love that sees beyond personality, age, appearance, or circumstance. Brian Weiss speaks of these reunions not as fantasy, but as sacred opportunities. They are invitations to remember, to heal together what was once broken, to fulfill unfinished contracts, to elevate one another through presence, compassion, and truth, and in that process, to awaken to the deeper mystery of who you are and who you've always been. This chapter, this beginning, is an opening of perception, a gentle widening of the lens through which you viewed your connections. In the chapters to come, we'll unveil the 5 distinct signs that signal you've reunited with a soulmate from a past life, not to inflate the ego or indulge in fantasy, but to anchor your experience in ancient truth. A truth Brian Weiss illuminated with courage and humility, that love is not bound by death, time, or form. If these words stir something within you, something unexplainable yet deeply known, stay. We are only at the threshold. The signs are waiting to be seen. When you encounter a soulmate from a past life, the first sign is often the most disarming, a sense of timeless recognition. It's not intellectual. It's not about remembering details or shared stories. It's a visceral awareness, an inner knowing, as if your soul whispers, "I know you, I've always known you." This recognition transcends physical appearances. You may have just met this person in a crowded cafe, at a random gathering, or by pure coincidence, yet the energy between you feels aged, familiar, ancient. The moment your eyes meet, there's often a silence almost imperceptible to those around you, but seismic within you. Something shifts, a doorway opens. This experience can be both comforting and confusing. Comforting because you feel seen in a way that goes beyond words. Confusing because the rational mind can't explain the intensity of the connection. You might find yourself inexplicably drawn to this person, craving their presence, their voice, their gaze, not out of infatuation, but because something in you remembers. and that remembrance stirs a longing that has no origin in this life. Weiss often emphasized how these connections are not bound to linear time. In his sessions, patients would recall moments of recognition from lifetimes past, shared lives in ancient civilizations, war zones, quiet villages. When these souls found each other again in the present lifetime, that buried resonance reawakened. Even without regression therapy, many people instinctively feel it. The body knows. The heart responds. This recognition can manifest in many ways. It may feel like déjà vu, but deeper, a repeating dream, a scent or song that inexplicably reminds you of them, or simply a gaze that feels like it pierces the veil of time. And it often comes with a sense of safety, as if your soul has found a resting place, even in the chaos of the world. At times it's overwhelming. You may find your emotions heightened around this person, as if lifetimes of unspoken truth are surfacing. You may laugh with ease, cry without knowing why, or feel a quiet intensity that defies explanation. You are not imagining it, you are remembering it. And here's the key: recognition is not always sweet. Sometimes you recognize someone who once hurt you, or someone with whom there's unfinished emotional residue. That too is part of the soulmate path. The soul does not seek only pleasure, it seeks growth, completion, healing. Soulmate reunions are rarely random, and they never arrive without purpose. When you feel this timeless recognition, pause, breathe, honor the mystery. Don't rush to label the connection or force it into the framework of romance or friendship. Simply allow it to unfold. Allow the soul to speak before the mind interrupts. This is where healing begins, in the sacred space of remembrance, free of expectation. Timeless recognition is the soul's way of affirming that you are not alone in your journey, that there are beings walking beside you who have walked with you before, that love once given is never lost. It echoes across dimensions, awaiting the moment of reunion. Dr. Weiss reminds us that we meet the people we are meant to meet, exactly when we are meant to meet them. That recognition is not just a feeling, it is a signpost, a message from your higher self, confirming that this moment was written long before your birth, and that now the spiral has brought you back into contact with a soul that matters. Trust that. Let it unfold, for the recognition you feel is real, and it is sacred. The second sign that you've reunited with a soulmate from a past life is the speed and depth at which emotional intimacy forms. It does not follow the usual timeline. It leaps beyond small talk, past hesitations, and into a space of vulnerability that feels both exhilarating and unsettling. It's as if the walls you've spent a lifetime building melt in their presence, not through effort, but through recognition. There's a reason for this. When souls have walked together before, the layers of trust and familiarity have already been cultivated. It's not that you're meeting someone new, it's that you're remembering someone old. That remembrance creates a shortcut to intimacy, not through force, but through resonance. You may find yourself telling them things you've never shared with anyone, not because you plan to, but because your soul feels safe, deeply and inexplicably safe. Weiss observed this phenomenon repeatedly. In session after session, clients who experienced regression to past lives would describe relationships that mirrored current ones. A lover in ancient Rome now returns as a best friend. A sibling from another era becomes a partner today. The familiarity of the soul connection dissolves fear, because at a soul level there is already history, already love. This kind of intimacy can feel like a magnetic pull, not toward fantasy or desire, but toward truth. You are drawn to them because being near them feels like being more fully yourself. Your guard drops, your essence surfaces. They don't just see you, they reflect you. You recognize in their eyes your own light, your own wounds, your own sacred journey. This connection doesn't demand perfection, it invites presence. You may find yourself more emotionally honest with them than with anyone else, even if you've only known them for a short while. Conversations flow effortlessly into the realms of the soul: purpose, dreams, fears, past traumas, spiritual awakenings. The usual social scripts dissolve, replaced by something far more authentic. And while the bond may feel immediate, it doesn't always unfold smoothly. Sometimes the depth of emotional connection can trigger old wounds, surfacing lessons that were left unfinished in past incarnations. The intimacy becomes a mirror, not just of your beauty, but of your shadows. This is one of the soul contract's deeper purposes, to hold you through growth, not just comfort. You may notice that even moments of silence between you feel charged, meaningful. That eye contact lingers without awkwardness. That physical proximity feels calming, healing, or even electrifying. These are not signs of mere chemistry. They are indicators of soul memory. The body responds before the mind can comprehend. The heart speaks its truth before words can catch up. Dr. Weiss often emphasized that soulmate relationships, especially those that span lifetimes, are not accidents. They are orchestrated events in the greater intelligence of the soul's evolution. Emotional intimacy is the tool through which this transformation occurs. It is not just about connection. It is about awakening. When emotional intimacy with someone feels unreasonably fast, deeply safe, and almost inevitable, consider this. You are not building something new. You are picking up where you left off. You are resuming a sacred dialogue that has spanned dimensions. And in doing so, you are accelerating your own healing, your own remembering, your own becoming. There is a sacred trust at play here, one that cannot be manufactured, only honored. Let it unfold gently. Let the intimacy teach you. Because in these moments, you are not merely relating, you are reuniting. One of the more surprising signs that you've reunited with a past life soulmate is the presence of strong emotional triggers that appear unprovoked or disproportionate to the current situation. You may feel joy, grief, fear, or longing, sometimes all at once, and have no logical explanation for these feelings. This emotional intensity is not random. It is the resurfacing of unresolved energies carried across lifetimes. Imagine meeting someone and instantly feeling betrayed or deeply comforted. You can't explain it. They haven't done anything to deserve your reaction, but something in their presence stirs a deep response. According to Dr. Brian Weiss, this is often a past life memory being activated. Your soul recognizes the emotional imprint of what once occurred between you, whether loving or painful, and reacts instinctively. Emotional triggers are not signs of dysfunction. In the context of soulmates, they are portals to healing. These moments invite you to feel, to question, and to release patterns that your soul has carried over from previous incarnations. For example, if you find yourself afraid of being abandoned by this person, even though they've never given you a reason, it's possible you experienced abandonment by them in a prior life. The emotion is real, even if its origin is buried. This can be a difficult sign to navigate. You might question your own emotional responses, wondering why someone has such an impact on you so quickly. But Dr. Weiss emphasizes that healing often begins with discomfort. The soul chooses to reunite with others who can help it evolve, and that sometimes means reactivating dormant emotional pain in order to finally release it. In these relationships, conflict can feel strangely familiar. Arguments might echo past dynamics. Power struggles, betrayal, or heartbreak may feel larger than the current circumstances warrant. That's because the emotion is not rooted in this life alone. It has history. These emotional patterns are surfacing so they can be witnessed, understood, and transcended. Healing these triggers is not about blaming the other person. It's about using the relationship as a mirror. What is this reaction trying to teach you? What wound is asking to be acknowledged? What karmic loop are you ready to end? When approached consciously, these soulmate reunions become catalysts for profound inner transformation. Often, both people in the connection experience triggers, sometimes in mirrored ways. One may feel overwhelming guilt, the other abandonment. One may fear loss, the other fears closeness. This dance is not accidental. It's choreographed by the soul's higher wisdom. The relationship becomes a container for mutual growth, provided both individuals are willing to face their emotional truth. These triggers can also manifest in positive ways. You may feel inexplicable joy, inspiration, or peace in their presence. These too are echoes of past life connections, reminders of joy once shared, missions once fulfilled, love once expressed without condition. Your soul remembers both the pain and the beauty. Dr. Weiss teaches that when these emotional waves arise, the key is not to suppress them but to observe them. Journal about them, meditate on them. Consider whether the emotions feel older than the situation at hand. If they do, it may be that your soul is offering you an opportunity to heal across time, and perhaps most importantly, respond with compassion toward yourself and the other. Soulmate reunions are never meant to harm. They are meant to wake us up, shake us free from repetitive patterns, and invite us into deeper authenticity. When you feel stirred by someone in ways you can't explain, when your emotions are louder than logic, It may be that you've found someone you've loved, lost, or learned from before. This isn't chaos, it's soul memory, and within it lies the gift of freedom. As we arrive at the final 2 signs, the journey deepens into sacred territory. By now you may have recognized a timeless familiarity, experienced instant emotional intimacy, and perhaps even been triggered in ways that defy logic. These are the echoes of a soul connection forged across lifetimes. The final signs bring the experience full circle, shared spiritual growth, and the unmistakable mark of divine timing. Let's begin with the 4th sign, a profound sense of shared growth and purpose. A past life soulmate does not just stir your heart, they stir your evolution. Their presence pushes you to expand, to confront your limitations, to step more fully into your truth. Whether through support or challenge, they activate your soul's journey. This kind of relationship may feel like a sacred contract. Together you feel a calling, spoken or unspoken, to become more than who you were. You may pursue healing, creative work, service, or personal development in tandem. It's not about perfection, it's about awakening. Their very presence feels like an invitation to remember who you truly are. Dr. Brian Weiss observed that soulmates often reincarnate together in order to fulfill unfinished purposes or continue work from prior incarnations. Perhaps you were spiritual seekers, artists, healers, or revolutionaries. That energy remains. When you reconnect in this lifetime, your missions may overlap again, often with uncanny synchronicity. Even if the relationship is not romantic, there is a sense of shared destiny. You may inspire one another to write, teach, heal, or serve. You hold space for each other's breakthroughs. You might even challenge one another, sometimes uncomfortably, but always in service of growth. It's not always easy, but it always feels meaningful. You may also find that this person awakens new levels of intuition, compassion, or spiritual awareness within you. They may help you open your heart or your third eye. Conversations with them feel more like transmissions than ordinary exchanges. There is a sense of elevation, as if the universe itself expands around you when you're together. And this leads us to the 5th and final sign, the unmistakable presence of divine timing. The reunion happens when it's meant to. Not a moment before, not a moment too late. Often you meet them at a crossroads, during a time of transition, or in a moment of emotional vulnerability. You may not even be looking, but they appear. This synchronicity is not accidental. The soul knows when you are ready to remember. Divine timing ensures that both parties are in the right energetic space to receive and honor the connection. Sometimes that means the meeting is brief but impactful. Other times it grows slowly over years. But either way, it arrives as if ordained. You might notice signs or omens leading up to the reunion, repeating numbers, dreams, a sudden shift in your internal world. And then there they are, unexpected but deeply familiar. The alignment feels cosmic. You sense that everything in your life has led you to this point. Not for fantasy, but for fulfillment. Dr. Weiss often spoke about these planned meetings as essential moments in a soul's journey. Soulmates arrive not just to comfort us, but to redirect us, to help us remember our soul's path and to catalyze the healing of lifetimes. When the universe orchestrates such a meeting, you'll know, not in your mind, but in your bones. And so we arrive at the close of this journey through the 5 signs of past life soulmate recognition: timeless recognition, accelerated emotional intimacy, unexplainable emotional triggers, shared growth and purpose, divine timing. If you've experienced even one of these signs, pause and honor the connection. Trust what you feel. The soul does not forget. And love, true love, transcends time, space, and even death. As Brian Weiss so often reminded us, the soul is eternal, and every reunion is a return.